It's the mouse issue where it's taking the clicks twice.
Oh.
Thank you for letting us know there was no audio.
You.
There was one time that we made it through, what was it, an hour?
Oh, yeah.
Before it was like, wait. Someone goes, is there something wrong? There's no audio. Yes, that is my zipper cat.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I know I hit the button, but apparently the clay gets into the mouse buttons. It doesn't kill the mouse. It seems to make this one hyperactive. There. Oh, she got up. Apparently she warmed up her paws sufficiently.
Yeah.
Take this opportunity to cut more blocks of clay. Yes, you are on. Oh, and I will.
Those are more bowls today.
Yes. So we're working on both.
Nothing is dry. Nothing is dry from 2 days ago.
Which means I need to get the dehumidifier going when we're done for today.
Yes.
Because we can have the dehumidifier going or the heater, not both.
When does plugging the dehumidifier do too much for that?
Yeah, probably.
I think I remember her saying that, or electrician saying. Those the kind of things that we could plug into different plugs in.
What we were allowed to plug in. The circuit that the heater's on, it says we were specifically told do not plug anything else into this
When the heater is plugged in.
when the heater is on. And so what we do is we only ever have one of the two plugs plugged in at once. We cannot accidentally have both going at once. There we go.
Which is okay because, you know, when you have the heater going, you don't really need the dehumidifier.
No.
There's no message up there.
I turn and read. You're welcome. Thanks for fixing that. Oh yeah, thank you.
Thank you for letting us know.
There we go. Got all of yesterday's gathered up.
And as I had said earlier,
Into
no
the
audio.
silence.
into the silence, yes. Because, you know, what do people think of the camera view? If there's a camera view people like more than others, let me know. We can always adjust it.
And the thing is there are times where she actually uses the camera view.
Yeah.
Because she sees things from above.
Because I'm doing is using the camera view to see what the profile of the bowl looks like. Because today's bowls it's the profile of the bowl. You know, more the soup bowl than the salad bowl kind of shape today. Because you want a deeper bowl so things don't slosh.
Also, if you have brothy soups, that kind of lip shape is nicer to drink out of.
Yeah.
Yep. And this piece right here.
And that's what?
3.
3 out of 12. Before I can go on to another sheet.
Yes. And then that cuts you off slightly smaller pieces for the 12 regular shaped bowls. Yes.
And try to run off for doing the 2 serving bowls after this.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds like you'll need to upgrade your electric wiring.
This was the upgrade.
No, unfortunately, this was the upgrade.
Because what this is it's an improved deck.
Yeah.
It's not actually a room.
No, this is. Well, that's the reason why it looks like there's siding behind her.
Because it is. That's the outside of the house.
This is an improved deck.
Yes.
The original wiring for this room was even less helpful.
Yes, that wiring had been replaced.
Yeah. Because what is now our heater outlet was originally
It was a heater outlet.
but it was knobbing too. That was our electrician went, yeah, no, this is not okay. I ripped this line out. Replace.
Yes, and then we got only a heater left the fall winter.
Yeah. It's might cold out here.
Yeah.
Because well there is no
As we have the resources, we're upgrading the shop area little by little.
when we first moved in here there was no wiring sufficient for the kilns.
Yeah, we have
Oh yes.
wiring.
I know, Nix, it's cold. She is calling for taxi.
She got back into her carrier, time to go back inside. Too cold for Kitty.
She doesn't like it when it's only like 65. Say bye, Nix. I know, you're just giving me a dirty look. Please hurry up and take me inside.
Trying to play in. And the cold sounds dreadful. Yeah, it can be.
There we go.
Yeah, how do you
How do you fire? The kilns don't complain as much about the cold as we do.
Yeah, well, they go up to like 2,000 degrees. So. And they're like for kilns.
65 Fahrenheit.
Fahrenheit. That's C.
No. That's a lot harder with C.
I know.
So for a kiln, if the starting temperature being 70 outside and being 40 outside doesn't matter all that much.
Or even 30 outside.
Yes, occasionally it's 30 in the garage, and I'm not very happy. My least favorite thing is leaning into the 100 and 150 degree kiln to unload when the ambient temperature is only like 40-ish.
Yeah.
That is unpleasant.
It's a temperature difference.
Yeah.
Kilns complain a lot more when it's hot.
Yes.
Because it can fry the electronics.
Yeah, if it gets over about 85 degrees in the garage, which is where the kilns live, we can't fire because it'll there's a chance it'll take it up over that crucial temperature,
which is 95 to 100.
and it can start frying the electronics.
At 100, it fries the electronics. So, 95 is not real friendly for it.
No. In which
I
case
know. We have the electronic controlled kiln.
Yes, we have the computer controlled kiln. We set the program. We walk away. It fires itself. We come back. Oftentimes to hurry it along when it comes to cooling, like with getting fans blowing on it.
Yeah.
While she's throwing bowls and finishing the sculpt on a skull mug. They pass them back and forth doing sculpting, and the one who's nearsighted and gets the picky little cleanup. Because it doesn't hurt my eyes as much as it does yours.
My eyes are moving.
Also, you're naturally farsighted. Well, we fire to
Cone 5.
it's cone 5. All of our clays and glazes are
Formulated.
optimized for that temperature.
Yeah.
Cone 5, you're looking at
2165.
2165 Fahrenheit. The bisque fire, which is the first one, which goes through and turns it from greenware
Goes through quartz and virgin. Which turns it from mud to stone.
more often than not, I do that at cone 07, because it saves just that little bit of power rather than going to 05.
And a little bit of time.
A little bit of time, about half an hour. Sometimes that half an hour is important. Because there's times where it's like, okay, well the kiln's going to finish at 2:30 in the morning, so I'll set my alarm for like 2:30 to 2:45, so I can get up, get the fans blowing on it, so it starts the cooling process as soon as possible.
Yeah.
So stoneware. Actually, we also have porcelains that are formulated for that lower temperature.
We have, and a black plate that is very porcelainy.
Yes.
It is fire. And then a red stoneware and a white stoneware. Because it depends on what we're throwing.
What we don't do is we don't do earthenware, otherwise known as terracotta.
Earthenware is like the pots you get from the hardware store. They're still
Porous.
porous in the water bottle. And that is not fancy.
No. Not so much because of the compounds it can leach out, but because of the bacteria and crud that can collect in the clay.
Which is not good.
Which is the reason why a lot of period cookware and period dishes from the medieval era, why there's so many, broken shards of pottery, because they weren't meant to last.
Yeah. There were medieval Tupperware.
Yeah.
And they would just use it was or some recipes called for a new green bowl.
Green means it was glazed, which means it had a more sealed surface. New because it was as sterile as you could freaking get.
And green was also copper.
Yeah,
So it was
copper.
probably an egg dish.
Egg or cream.
Yeah.
Either one of those, the texture would be improved because of the interaction
With copper and the dairy compounds.
kind of like nowadays where you have the people who do their whipping of their eggs in a copper bowl.
Yeah.
That's also a thing for cream, right?
Never done it, so
No,
it's
never
kinda
owned a
like
copper bowl.
yeah. Because it's the copper, too much copper isn't food safe. Why would you do that in a copper bowl?
Yes. It's knowing all. I didn't know you could get porcelain that fired so low.
It's the way it's formed.
Yeah, it's we've done clay formulation. We know the process. We buy commercially formulated ones because it's more consistent.
Yes. And also, they have
bigger equipment.
yeah. And also, they're the one they have to pay for the
All the
testing.
testing. No.
Yeah, we both have degrees.
We've done glaze formulation, we've done clay formulation, so we know all the science.
And there's a lot of science.
Oh yeah, there's so much chemistry involved, particularly in
Which is
glaze
kinda cool.
formulation. But yeah, you can get the
We used to make my own glazes years and years ago before we did it for a living.
Yeah.
We moved from the Bay Area in California up into the Redwoods. It was even the same batch of chemicals that I was using. The only thing that changed was the water. And it went from this wonderful
apple
green glaze, it was beautiful glaze, to this acid matte, dark green glaze. It was,
with patches of metallic.
yeah, no longer food safe.
What changed was the water. The
We
water
lived in a
there.
logging community. 95% of the allowable copper by law in the tap water.
And thus, if I've never whipped cream in copper bowls. Copper is for egg whites. Okay. As I said, it's like it had to do with whipping into foams. I wasn't sure if it was just eggs or whether it was cream as well.
Yeah. Yeah, so it has to do with the water. It got to the point where you had to use water to even water down the glazes.
And once we moved from that place to the next one, we were on well water, which had very high iron content. Great for us because we're genetically anemic, which means there's not enough iron in the world to drain our blood iron content up to normal. But for regular people, our body goes, don't need that much.
Yeah.
But I couldn't, if I were to use that water to water down a clear glaze, it turned it this lovely pale celadon green.
Which is really cool.
Because very low quantities of iron will actually result in a green glaze, not in a brown glaze.
Yeah.
This one.
And to this day, we use distilled water for adding to the glaze.
Yep.
We're municipal water again now, but it's pretty good water, but still don't want to try.
And it just, the glazes come out more consistent if we use filtered water. And as we're entering this season, we basically, you throw so clean. Well, you've been doing throwing for how long?
Over 40 years. Probably getting closer to, probably over 45 years.
So it's like, okay, you
Yes, I'm
learned how to do it in middle school, so early teens, and you're turning 60 next year.
Yes.
Old. But yeah, it's getting into the time of the year when the water for watering down the glaze, my supply out there will be refilled very, very regularly.
Yes.
Because we take the water from the dehumidifier,
Which is basically
which is being distilled out of the air, and use that for watering down the glazes and refilling the buckets and things out here for heating the water
yeah.
for her to do throwing with. Because this time of year, this is why we have an electric kettle out here.
Which is plugged into a different plumber.
Yes.
Different outlet.
I think that there's like three or four different circuits, because the heater is one circuit. Then I think all three outlets are one circuit. I'm not actually sure about that
I'm
one.
not sure about that
I
one.
think
either.
that one's I think that one's separate.
It's an older house that has been added on to, so the circuits are a little
So one circuit, two circuit, potentially three circuit, and the lights are separate. Four.
Yeah, we were going through and upgrading all of the electrical, and then lockdown hit.
COVID has put that on hold.
Yeah, well, our electrician has a day job. And she would come over, one weekend per quarter. And
We'd have fun, we'd hang out, we'd get electrical upgraded. It was lovely.
it's lovely.
It's really wonderful having friends in the trades who are willing to work for pottery.
Yeah.
We pay for supplies and food and board, room and board for the weekend. We also learn tidbits about electrical
Yeah.
that way.
We get to learn things.
And she's like, "Oh, I'm
Learning
sorry, I'm
is-
boring you," and I'm like,
No.
"No, we like data."
How do things work?
Yeah. Learn what sort of GFCI plugs you can get to convert a 2-prong safely to a 3-prong.
Yeah.
We do it in
A safe manner so that there's no fire hazards.
so we know that our electricity in this house is good.
Yeah.
It's just not always where we want it.
Yeah. And some of them are just interesting accruals over the last, the house is what, 60 years old-ish?
Closer to 70.
Closer to 70 years old, and it's been added on to. There's like the switch that controls the lights in this room also controls the light on the back porch and the light on the front of our shed.
I know. Well,
Oh, the house was built in 1922, rewired in the 80s.
oh,
Yeah, we've been helping friend get a house cleaned up that was built right around that same era. I don't think the bits of the electrical
were
were from
updated.
the 60s, 70s.
I think.
Yeah, well, that match up with the wall paneling, 70s.
Yeah, when it had an addition made to it.
But
Cool
yeah,
house.
cool old house. But yeah, you get the accrued electrical.
Yeah.
When we replaced some lights inside, it was very clear that some of they were the original 1950s light fixtures on the ceiling
In yours and your brother's bedrooms.
with the cloth electrical tape. They
And your
crumbled. It was bad.
And I go, it's cloth electrical tape. It was
What the heck is this? And the cloth covered electrical wiring too, which I
Yeah.
don't really want to think about.
Yeah, well, don't even go there.
No.
It could be fun. Yeah. Could be anything really.
Yeah. Just about done with the teeth on the sky.
Oh, yeah, we're out the water down. It sloshed in some water.
Yeah. No one's slosh. Your house is post World War II? Yes.
Yeah.
I think pretty much this whole neighborhood is true.
Yeah, because there was the watershed up here, but there were no houses up here before, I think it's like early 50s.
Yeah.
They sold lots. It's not a housing tract.
Yeah.
They're all individually built houses, which is interesting.
Yeah.
So
Now
you can-
that's 6, you need a minimum of another 6. But the town itself dates from the 20s.
Yeah.
Which means there's some beautiful buildings downtown.
Oh, yeah.
And they stuck them all on the historic register, so there's no tearing them down.
The Art Deco style buildings.
I've never seen such a pretty post office.
I know, with the leaded glass windows. And the marble floors.
Oh, I know. And they've kept it up too.
Yeah. Then you have the high school, which is a registered building.
Yeah. I think this is some of my wiring is knob and tube.
Yeah.
There is worse kinds, but yeah, our electrician was like, yeah,
Well,
this is not great.
your
Yeah,
generation.
she's my generation. And that it's not a 2 code standard anymore, at least not here.
Yeah,
Different areas have different regulations.
and also depending on the age of your house.
Yeah, certain things get grandfathered in.
Yeah. I love the older architectural styles.
Yes. This is the oldest house that I've ever lived in.
Yeah. I don't know whether when I was really small how old those houses were. So.
Yeah, this one was built in the 50s. The one that we grew up in was from 60s.
Yeah, it was built in
Ugh.
65.
Blech.
Tract housing, nothing like it.
Cheap 1960s tract housing. Blech.
Oh yeah.
It was built in a rush and not well.
And when I mean there's nothing else like it,
It's
it's a
good.
good thing. Oh my.
At a time when we were hanging shelves in my room and went 5 feet without finding a beam, putting in a nail every inch.
Yeah. And
There were 2 bathrooms on the other side of that wall.
that was, I think, or there was maybe the master bathroom. I don't know. It could have been that it was flying on either side of that wall, how they got away with that.
Yeah.
And then they didn't have one that was in the wall, one between the 2 rooms. They just measured from,
Yeah.
because it was
Oh,
the stupid sliding
we're
glass
going to have
doors.
to replace this little tool. It's the top of it's actually cracking off.
Oh, that's horrible.
It's one of our little silicon sculpture tools. Mid-century modern is not my favorite architecture.
Oh,
No. The neighborhood was declared a historical landmark district in '98.
Oh, that's cool. Whole neighborhood.
Yeah, nice. And there was the big push in getting places, buildings in this area put on the historic register was what?
In the
Early-
80s.
Early '80s?
Yeah, because there was a big push to, whatever it was, to destroy.
Bulldoze parts of the town.
Yeah, just bulldoze it. And it's kind of like, then people are going, no.
Well, there's like that old theater building that the only reason it survived being bulldozed was because Mount St. Helens went off and the bulldozers were called away.
They were on their way to bulldoze the historic theater when the volcano erupted and they got redirected.
And by the time they were done, which was years later, they passed legislation to save it.
And 25, 26 other buildings as well. Yeah, which was kind of amazing. It's a very interesting little city. Yeah. I know people get really upset when I call it a town.
And so technically, yes, it is incorporated. It is legally a
Been a
city.
since 19. It's the world's smallest metro area
I know, it's called a metro.
with 38,000 people.
That's not a metro.
No,
That's smaller than the city you grew up in. Which was not a metro.
Yeah.
Well, being in the Bay Area with lots of large cities,
Well, when I was growing up, Dublin only had like 8,000.
and when I was growing up,
It had like 38,000.
a lot of the post-war houses were built by individuals. Yeah, this was pretty much that post-war building boom of the area.
Yeah. Did some research and
Yeah, we looked up the history of the house. And the person who originally built it,
was World War II vet.
yeah, he was a vet, and as I recall, he was a carpenter, or owned.
He ran a construction company.
Yes, he ran a construction company. Was one of the latter ones that they owned a lumber yard.
Yeah, and it was one that owned the lumber yard.
Was the one that put the addition on.
Yeah, with all the Tudor-esque beams in it and everything.
Yeah, I like the added room. And it's very, very sturdily constructed. You running a beam finder along the wall
In that room.
is, I forgot, you're in Northern California? Is actually we're up in Washington now. We're from Northern California.
Yeah.
But
Electricity's a lot cheaper.
electricity is, according to the solar guy we were talking to yesterday, 1/7 the cost that it
Yeah.
was in
One
California.
of the in the top 5 cheapest electricity areas in the nation. It's really
It's one of the reasons.
Bonneville Dam.
Yeah.
If you live close to the
Columbia
Columbia
River.
you have cheap power.
Oh, though apparently not in Portland. Portland doesn't get the cheap power. Portland has an electric company.
We have a
We have a public utility district.
Yeah.
So it's run not for
basically
profit.
it's a non-profit, which is nice.
I like our PUD.
80% hydroelectric power,
Yes.
which is cool.
And yeah, we are looking into the next 10 years ish adding solar.
Yeah.
Because why not? You know? Cut down on exterior
Yeah,
needed
but not
power.
with your electric usage, you wouldn't pay 100%. It's like
Oh yes, with our
Yes.
coastal Washington. Not precise. We're what? About an hour from the water?
probably about that. It depends on. We're not inland.
No.
We're west of I-5.
Yes.
How'd you think of-
We used to live within a few miles of the
We
ocean.
used to live off of 101.
So yeah, coastal for us is like, can you smell the ocean on?
Do
on
things
Sundays?
rest if you look at them?
Goodness, yeah, it was terrible for the exterior of our kilns because between the salt air and the heat from generated by the kilns.
Oh, it was two news, Catherine. It is, Nix was out here earlier, but it was too cold for her, so she wanted back inside.
And she got back in her box and gave me a dirty look. It was taxi, yo, in. I don't like this cold stuff. I think she was out here for maybe 15 minutes.
But she would have been upset.
Oh yeah, we're not allowed to come out without her.
She had her time
There
out
we
there.
go.
She was done.
Finished sculpting the little skull face there. So normally we do unarmored skulls, but those ones. Oh, I almost forgot to do the little decoration.
The coastal though is pretty much the same from north of Santa Rosa all the way up to the Sound in Washington.
Yeah,
It's
it's damp and forested and not many people.
Yeah, and the towns don't really seem to be that much different, all the ones that I've seen.
Well, in a way, it kind of makes sense because it's like all one
Down
culture.
here in Southern California. Oh,
There's a big push for solar.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that and with the strong sun in Southern California, the systems will pay themselves off much faster.
Oh, yeah.
As having just spoken to the solar guy yesterday, he's like, yeah, solar systems in California will pay off in like 5 years.
Up here it's more like 12 to 16.
Yeah.
And I go, well, yeah, that sounds about right.
The sun down there is much stronger.
Yeah.
Cats are heat seekers. Yes.
Yeah.
Nick sat on my lap for a while before she went, yeah, no, I'm done.
I have to get her heat out there out here.
Yeah. Because she's a silly cat. And refuses to sit near the heater.
Maybe we could convince her to do that at some point.
Yeah.
That would be warmer.
Yeah. Let's see now. That was piece number 8. 9, 10. This is 11. So one more piece after this, and we will meet the minimum for those bowls.
Yeah.
Do you want to throw 1 or 2 beyond that of that shape?
Yeah, probably should.
Okay.
I should throw the big one.
Yes.
Serving bowls.
Because the serving bowls, as I recall, are the 50-ish. They're 50, 60 ounces.
Yeah. So do you live on the coastal part of Southern California or inland? Let me see the name so well.
Renee.
Renee. What kind of
Again, she's the farsighted one, but we can only make the text so big. I could see if the text would be bigger if I dragged it onto the other screen.
yeah, you can do that.
Always trying to optimize things. There. Is that
Oh,
better?
yeah, that's much better.
Here, I'll drag. Actually, what I can do is I can just drag this right here.
Yeah.
There we
There
go.
Oh yeah.
Our overlords tend to like their worms. Yeah. She, what with the switch over to the fall weather, she's decided that underneath that little down throne in the family room is one of her favorite places.
Yeah.
But only if your feet are also under it.
My feet have to be under it. It's on the little footstool, and then she just okay. I know what you want here. Just my feet. My feet are warm.
Because you've got a little heat. Hot water bottle against your feet.
I sit there and paint, which I do
For hours and hours.
do probably several hours almost every day.
Let go. Let go. There we go.
Won't be doing it this week.
No.
Did
Taking
go play
someone on a
tourist.
birthday trip.
Yeah. You can go play tourist on the coast.
But you mean you could actually take a weekend off?
I know, it's kind of amazing.
The thing when you're working from home is you're never away from work. You don't go home from work because work is home. Go. Find the little parts I can't read. So your work focuses on medieval recreations.
Largely.
Largely.
But not always. We've done a number of modern pieces as well.
They're like that bat vase, which was actually a 1920s Art Deco piece.
Yeah. We've done things that are very modern. We did those ones that were the little green things with the lids years ago. And the Android dude.
Oh, yes, literally the Android logo. We did those as mugs.
Yeah.
Little robot guy.
Yeah.
We did
ones
those
were
as
cute.
we did those as gifties for an office of programmers. They worked on the Android platform.
Which was kind of cool.
And I mean, the skull mug here is definitely more fantasy than historic.
Yeah.
There we go. So this guy, when you're done throwing, will be ready for its handle. We'll just hide the mark on the bottom. The little maker's mark there.
Have overviews done a lot more of the historical pieces.
Museum replicas, or the modern memes in
Oh, yeah.
historic fashion, like the two ladies yelling at the cat. That meme. We did that in Greek style. We also did a Grecian version of the Spartan warriors from Halo,
Yes.
because it's a Spartan cup. Also did a Celtic tutorial.
Yeah.
We get some of the most interesting requests because people
Yeah.
are like, okay, can you do this, but like this over here, or
Yeah.
in this style, like the all the portrait pieces that we've done, like the big elaborate Melica portrait
Style
platters.
Yeah. With kitty faces.
But they're cat faces. So they'll be in the historic garb, and it's often really cute.
Yeah.
Because a number of bowls that we threw 2 days ago, which are over there and still drying. I should have come out yesterday and not turned the dehumidifier on. Those will have more or less a modern type pattern. We'll just have the black lines with the brown glaze over it, translucent brown
Which
glaze.
ones? These ones or
No,
those?
those ones.
Yeah.
The outturned lip.
Yeah.
Whereas these ones will have historic patterns, but the original design was off of a jug or large mug type shape. And luckily it's a very adaptable pattern.
It's the brown and turquoise.
Yes, 8 of them will have the brown and turquoise pattern, which is 1200 Syrian. Then 2 of them will have the color altered version of the Happiness Islamic script, because it's using colors from another pattern.
Using Italian Renaissance colors on a Middle Eastern design.
Yes, on a turn of the first millennia Middle Eastern design, the Italian colors are from 400 years later.
Yeah. So
It's coming out really nice.
yeah, and it's kind of like I would have never thought of that, which is kind of interesting.
I love the combinations that people ask us to do.
Yeah.
Like the cat urn that did most recently, the one that was the Bassett figurine. That came out cool. That was fun. Other times people do things like request goblets with handles. And we're like,
That was
Well,
years
what?
ago.
it was very memorable. And it was to hold 24 ounces. It was a stinking giant goblet with a handle on the side.
Yeah, that was like over 2 years ago.
Yeah. Are you throwing a set of bowls or simply bowls to sell at a particular venue? These are going to be bowls for 2 different sets. And then we have, okay, the 2 serving bowls are also for one of the sets, and then we're doing bowls that are going to be going into a series of subscription boxes. We haven't done an in-person venue event
Since
since
March
March 2019.
2020. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Wow.
it's been over a year and a half since we've been out at an event.
An event from January.
Yeah. At that point, we will have been
I'm
indoors.
kind of looking forward to that.
Because at that point, it will have been 22 months
Yeah.
since the last time we were set up someplace to sell.
Yeah.
We've just been really focusing on doing online sales, and we've had customers who are like, well, we're not traveling to go to fairs or to the events we normally do, so we'll replace our kitchen dishes.
Well, that's kind of cool.
It's kind of inspired us to look at the sad 20-year-old Corel in our cupboard going, man, we really should
Maybe we
upgrade
should do
ours.
that. Maybe we should do that one.
It's that whole thing is the cobbler's children have no shoes. We do make ourselves our own mugs, so we've made our own soup bowls.
Yeah.
Because, well, the crow bowls were just
Well,
not
the
suitable.
soup bowls were inspired by a set somebody ordered a few years back.
And that's cool. We should make some.
Yeah. And our tea mugs are because we drink massive quantities of hot tea.
Yeah.
And so we each have our pair of like 30-ounce mugs that we have for tea. But yeah, for the last 18 months, over 18 months, 90% of the items that we've been making have been ones that were orders.
We did do some open stock. We
Yeah.
went through different Facebook groups and stuff.
Yeah. Because yes, I need to go through and do pictures of the open stock items again, so that we can do a ready to ship album again for the holidays. It's starting to rain again.
Yeah.
At least this winter we've managed to get around to replacing one of the 2 lights out here.
Yeah.
So it's slightly higher quality lighting. Because some of the lights that had been the original lights to the house have obviously been migrated out here in the past decades. Because those are those 1950s glass plate
Things.
Yeah.
At least we replaced all of the incandescent light things.
Yeah, when we moved in, every single light bulb is incandescent. We replaced them all with LED. Which side? Which side? A big upgrade when it came to filming setup was when we watched Adam Savage, and he talked about how he made his armatures for lighting and for phone holders and you name it, using clock line. So we got some and made a closable arm for the camera. My coffee mug is 42-ounce mug because yes, I do need that much coffee to get started in the morning. Yeah, it's one of the most popular things is to have that a nice big hot beverage mug.
Yeah.
And our
And
personal
you can
ones are
also use that in a hot weather.
yeah. Yes. We need the 40 plus ounces of ice water.
Yeah. For going to events, especially events in Southern California.
Oh, yeah, because it's hot.
It's hot and dry.
After living on the coast for like 12 years, the big joke whenever we had to do an event inland was go inland and our gills would dry out.
Yeah.
Though honestly, the dry air would cause bloody noses and
Just
unhappy respiratory system.
okay. Look, but it's so humid. It's like
What do you mean humid? It's only like 40% humidity. This is dry. Yeah, we more often than not we have our one coffee in the morning, and it's followed up with tea all day. Particularly now that we've switched over into fall weather. It was like immediately after equinox. It's like, hi, hello. This is your scheduled fall weather now.
it's not gradual.
It
California. You get the
It's
okay.
that
By the
slow
way,
slide from
you know fall's coming. You get a few weeks notice. This is by the way,
the temperature has changed. Hope you have your sweaters out.
yeah. That's
And we actually do have the maple trees are turning pretty colors.
My yard has Japanese maple in it. At one point, it must have been a very pretty yard.
We're making it more of a food garden.
I know, but at one point,
Yeah.
it must have been really pretty
It
yard.
must have been one of the past owners was known for her gardening.
And from what we found out, that's some of the things they're planted here
We have some interesting specimen plants.
that are A, supposed to be hard to grow, B, would be really expensive.
Like the voodoo lily, otherwise known as the dragon lily, because it actually produces its own heat.
It's kind of like, we were calling it alien plant, and I did try to rip it out, and well,
Apparently once
Once they're
established, they're
established,
next to
they're-
impossible to kill.
yeah, and the other lilies, not a true lily either, but even if you cover it with carpet and stuff, it'll grow, but it'll push through and grow back.
Oh, the calla lily?
The calla lily.
Yeah, it's actually a member of a completely different family, and
Yeah.
it's not toxic to cats,
Yeah, which is nice.
yes. And doesn't stink. I don't know about many other people, but I'm not a fan of the scent of things like Easter lilies. I hate going into grocery stores that time of year because it's just ugh.
Yeah.
It's done. I don't want to get out the other things that need sculpting because they're a completely different color of clay, and I don't want to cross contaminate.
It's a good idea. You
No
wouldn't
more
want
that
a
size.
Gunzilla. Oh yes, not everything is
No.
art historic. Doing
Godzilla's they're historic inspired. Rhyntons are the Greek equivalent of drinking horns.
wow at the voodoo lilies. Yeah, they're really interesting, and also supposedly smell like rotting meat when it was.
The one day when they released the snuff.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we seem to have missed it this year. We didn't go outside. It's related to like pitcher plants and the big corpse lilies.
Which are interesting.
Yeah. We have people in a gardening group that we're a part of. They're like, yeah, well, once we see each other again, yeah, we'll totally rip up a section of voodoo lily rhizome and hand it off to you.
That's
Good
good.
luck.
And it's one of those things. Well, I suppose. What our friends down in California. I'm sorry, we can't.
Just your
exactly.
plants.
Share. Yeah. Something about
The other side of the agricultural divide.
Yes, with California with their border crossing stations.
The
Oh,
agricultural
excuse me. Border patrol.
Before we moved up here, we lived not far from the California-Oregon border, so we'd be going through there on a really regular basis.
And then I always ask people, what do you have?
it wasn't just, do you have any produce? There's other times where they'd ask, do you have any firewood? Cut flowers were another thing. Eggs?
What do
Milk?
you have in your trailer?
Oh, goodness.
Can you open it so you can inspect what's in there?
Yeah, there's times where we've been.
It's kind of like, I get that all the time. People go, I never get that. And I go,
I don't.
I must look really,
All 5 of you looks real. All 5 feet of you looks horribly dangerous.
what's in there? Can you find it? Sure.
That's it. We sell it a number
Because
of
they ask you, where are you coming from? Where are you going
going.
to? At the time, we lived in Humboldt County, which is not one of the places with the best reputation.
No. It's also the reason why we specified that we made ceramics rather than pottery, because we didn't want an association with that word, because it was before it was legalized.
But they also had one of the best teacher colleges in the state.
Which is the reason why we initially moved up there, because yeah, we both have teaching degrees.
No, I'm so glad we did get that.
Yeah. I commend the poor teachers who are having to put up with everything under the sun right now.
Oh no.
We have friends who are teachers that, she's had COVID for the 3rd time since getting vaccinated,
Yeah.
since the schools have reopened. There's 2 of those. How much clay do I have left here? I was initially gonna ask if we wanted to do 3 of the serving size bowls, but I have to get you more clay.
Good.
Okay. I wanted to make sure that
We're not out yet. We're hoping.
I
our shipment
really
gets
hope
here
more
soon
shipment
before
comes
we
soon.
run out of clay.
I'll take a count on how many boxes of stoneware we have left.
Yeah. No big deal. We're just running low on clay. It should be here in a couple of weeks. They're saying something was delayed. I called earlier in the week. Or was it last week? I lose track of time sometimes. Because days of the week don't really mean that much right now. But there was, maybe you should just buy one of the local varieties of clay. These are the kind of clays that we need. This is what we use.
So yeah, after this bag, we have another 6 boxes.
Oh, which that should be fine.
Yeah, should be fine.
I think we're here in a couple of weeks.
You seldom throw more than,
And that's
3
just
or
of
4
the
bags
one,
a week.
and that's just of the one variety.
Yeah, that's just one kind. So even if we were to run out of one of the varieties, we're not gonna run out of, you're not gonna run out of clay, period, before we need to, before the delivery arrives.
But they're also trying to get the glaze.
Yeah. So, I want to try out that red glaze that I'll have to order from different source. Because we're trying to find the right color to replicate the salmon.
Yes. Yes. I'm working on the historic pieces. Oh, what fun.
Yeah, because it's the experimental archaeology briefing. How bad are the supply chains for our work?
It varies.
It really did vary. There was some of the clay that we were still working through was old when we got it.
Yeah.
Does your clay have grog? This one does. The
This
stoneware.
one has sand.
This one has sand. The red clay has a little bit of grog to it
Yeah.
because that particular material is very rough. We use 5 kinds of clay.
Yeah.
The smooth white stoneware, the
Porcelain.
the porcelain, the black clay,
The
the red clay, and the stoneware that you're throwing with right now.
Yeah.
They all have their different uses, and you actually like throwing with variety, yes?
Sounds always ridiculous.
Because this will fire up to a nice kind of buff, sandy color.
Yeah.
Slightly yellowish. The smooth stoneware is a creamy white.
It's a creamy white, which is actually whiter than the porcelain.
Yeah, because the porcelain's a slightly gray white.
It's more of the creamy white. It's more of a cream color. And then the white is a little bit more like paper white.
Yeah. The black, which before it's fired, is about the color of chocolate, milk chocolate.
Yes.
And it fires up this nice black color. And that clay you cannot fire in a gas kiln. It is extremely reactive. And specify one of the more open shapes for the serving bowl.
Broad, I think called.
Yes. And 8 to 9 inches across.
Want to move that away from there.
Yes, I'm sorry, I put that in the wrong spot.
It's in the direct path of the heater.
And I will get the one more piece cut. Or do you want me to wait that piece?
Why don't you wait and see how these ones do?
Yeah.
I can make another one, but let's not dry it out and put it in.
Also, I wanted to make sure that the piece of clay was the right size.
There's always that too.
Because that is 60 ounces. For being able to replicate the shapes and sizes of pieces, we weigh the clay. It's like the bowls with the outturned lip that you were throwing 2 days ago, those ones were 24 ounces, but that was slightly too much clay for the other
The
ones.
thing is, it's going to vary with each person
Yeah,
in the day and the clay.
yeah, because sometimes I cut you off the 20-ounce piece. That's a big ball of clay to wrestle. Yeah, if you want to see her wrestle big pieces of clay.
It's when I'm doing Greek.
Yeah, when you're making the amphora.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I have pieces like this.
That's a 60-ounce piece. The amphora halves are double that, easily. The scale only goes up to 80, and then it'll continue to read for another 20 after that, and then it's a case of how loud the clunk is when it hits bottom.
And it adds more to the point.
It's
how many
hand width.
hand
Width of bag. Because when you're throwing that,
Can't wait to see
what you're throwing. This will be another bowl.
it's just so much bigger bowl. This actually takes a little more time. Because I have little big hands.
Because for scale reference, we wear extra small gloves. Oftentimes, potters do clay scaled to their hands.
The other ones are just crazy and like throwing aside.
You're talking about yourself right now, aren't you? But when you're giving lessons, you often recommend that it's about that much clay.
That you want to use something, but yeah, maybe about a pound of clay.
Yeah.
Unless you have like huge.
That's why it's like, it's kind of scaled to the human, where it's about,
But you don't want to go more than 2 pounds because
No.
it's also
you don't, if you're learning, you don't have the muscle memory of your hands.
so used to do lessons at fair that we used to do.
There were days where you'd give 20 lessons, and you were so sore afterwards.
But yeah, it was a tough thing. Is you get these big muscle men there. They're trying to do some throwing. There's this one who was really funny.
It's one of those people that obviously go to
They have the pretty muscles.
and 4 are huge pieces.
Yes.
Some of them are. We made most of the
About
amphora.
a gallon to 2 gallons.
Yeah, we make the 1 to 2 gallon size amphora. They are much bigger ones out there. Those generally involve teams of people when it came to throwing.
Yeah, they're thrown in sections.
and then
Assembled.
this piece being the bottom of the bag, this being kind of funny.
Sorry.
Probably want to put that one back in the bag then.
Okay, that was
Because it's-
not the bottom. Okay. This was the next. This was the next piece up. This one was not actually on the bottom. That one
So I got
was.
the bottom piece first.
Yes, yes, you did. That is an interesting shape.
That's not so bad.
No. Oh yeah, now it's opening back up. Oh yeah, he's a pretty shape roll. You didn't get too much clay water on me.
Shouldn't sit so close.
I'm sitting close because that's where the heater is.
Yeah, I know, I'm teasing you. So everybody knows that models are mean.
Oh yes.
Well.
That's also not your usual sponge, is it?
It was the one that's on top of this one.
Because I'm like, that's that natural sponge.
Yeah, it's a sea sponge.
For the larger pieces, I noticed that the speed on the wheel goes down a lot.
You don't want centrifugal force to take the rolls away.
It is. I haven't thrown for years. Okay. And you don't throw for a while and you start losing the calluses. Because when we moved, you actually went, what was it, about 2 months? 2-3 months between having to take the shop down and then getting enough of it set back up to do throwing again.
And the unevenness just works its way up to the top. And you cut it off. And use the silicone rib to smooth out the texture.
The silicone ribs may be more expensive than most
They
of
last longer.
but yeah, they last a heck of a lot longer.
Yeah.
They're probably cheaper in the long run if you throw a lot.
There's one.
Because he used to have a couple of like rubber ribs. Those really didn't last.
The wood ones, they bring down quickly.
Yeah, and they're not flexible. Yeah, that one has a facet to the edge.
And it's also
It
just,
used to be beveled.
and it used to be straight other than the angle too, so.
Yeah, that is now the back cleaning one. Oh, you found your missing rib.
And the different colors are different,
Here, what I can do is turn this briefly. You can see the rack of tools.
so I have the red ones, which are really bendy. The yellow ones, which are only slightly bendy. Then you have the blue ones, which are
Relatively rigid?
really, very, very
Yeah.
stiff.
Yes.
Then there's black ones that are absolutely rock hard.
Yeah, the
I live
one,
about 20 minutes away from Kemper Tools.
oh, easy access.
I order things and have them shipped.
Well, we got into that habit when we lived on the coast, and well, to our ceramics store was a 5-hour drive.
Yeah.
There we go.
And now it's like 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But we so used to just calling in the order.
So used to
And they have to just ship it anyways.
Yeah.
When you're ordering clay by the ton. I don't have a vehicle that can hold that kind of weight.
No. We can put about what, 1,100?
Yeah, and then it's like driving a brick
Yes.
through the red ones. That was fun.
We only did that once. Oh, I love your tool wall.
Oh, thank you.
The doing the tool rack was what? The big reno last Christmas?
Yeah, because my tools were always on
They were
pile.
yeah, they were such a pile.
So
And she couldn't find them. And well, all clay tools become clay colored.
basic clay color.
And you use multiple colors of clay, they develop a camo texture.
Yeah.
Oh, you
have
don't need no water,
yeah. Also, another thing to combat the cold is heated water.
Ceramic studio, where old things come to die. Office chairs, electric kettle. Occasionally, some of the clay tools are things like decorating ribs. But you have a couple of interesting tools, like the one that's resembles the ones out of the Three Books of Potter's Art, which was written in 1547. And it documented all the tools and the ribs and some recipes, mind you. I doubt that the person running around collecting the recipes got them accurately from the potters, because you have the metal hook.
I'll check that one out.
Yeah.
That is really cool.
And then just more of the metal scoop shape on the other end. And that's been lasting a lot longer than a lot of the more modern loop tools.
Yeah. Which loop tools
They grind away.
right away.
Well, it's pretty good.
It's like with a lot of the wood sculpture tools. They use cheap wood.
Yeah, if you use a low density wood or one that has a prominent grain.
Yeah. If you have like hardwood, have some that I've had since I was in preschool. I had to
These
hardwood.
two.
Yes.
These two are wonderful. These two tools are older than I am.
Yes.
And they're just a really lovely wood.
They've got to be hard.
Ancient and yeah. That's one of those times is I really wish that could identify the wood,
Yeah.
because they're not extremely heavy, but they have an almost invisible grain.
Yeah.
We're so careful that those ones get treated nicely. It'd be horrible if they were to fail.
They will eventually.
I know. We had somebody make a cool tool. We had somebody make some replicas of those wood tools out of, because they did woodworking, but they made it out of some scrap wood.
Yes.
And they've already had
Softwood.
softwood, and they've already developed significant wear.
And they're only a few years old.
Yeah. And the texture on them is never smoothed down. It is just stayed rough.
Yeah.
I wonder if those old ones are something like maple.
Could be something that wouldn't be all that, exotic.
Yeah.
Could be an exotic.
No, because it's nothing like some purple heart
I wonder
or
if
something.
then we'd have maple.
Yeah, because we have maple trees in the yard. And when we do cuttings, we have to trim the tree to get it away from the house. Could always, save some of the branches of significant thickness. The flying plane. The first comment is always about next. Yeah, frequently, yeah.
Yeah.
It always is. So it's, the cat. Yep. So that's a good amount of clay. Do you want me to cut you off another piece?
Yeah.
And then we will have those done, and then you just have the other 12 balls to throw.
Yes.
But will you be wanting to stop with the third bowl?
I'll see if I can keep going.
Okay.
Let's get all these bowls done.
I don't think you're going to get all 12 of them done.
Well, try to get as many as possible.
Okay.
If I'm gonna take the weekend off.
reason why I ask is because by the time you finish with that, you will have done 14 pieces.
Yeah.
Oh, we have some sun, at least briefly.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
No, it won't. Weatherman has not been able to get the sun days versus cloudy days right this week.
Yeah, well.
And we pay attention to that because, well, this room is mostly windows, so the presence or lack of the sun drastically changes the temperature in this room. Go, mush my clay in the shit. Well, it's a nicer shape when it gets to her. She can throw it faster.
That's the wear and tear on my muscles.
Yes. So after this, since there are going to be more of the bowls for those subscription boxes, probably do more of the 18-ounce pieces.
Yeah.
Oh, we also have, and it is not one of the bowls on that list, a request for a 4.5-inch bowl. I could do the piece for that one next, because that's a little bowl. Yeah, 16 ounces. It's probably enough clay for that. So your favorite wood for wood tool is hardwood. I'm wondering if perhaps it's ironwood. Now those ones are distinctly not ironwood, because ironwood's much darker, but yeah, because it has a nice smooth grain to it.
Yeah.
So it'd probably last.
Yeah. Probably would.
This place we initially moved to on the coast, the former owner had been a woodworker. Exotic hardwoods, and had left a lot of scrap end cuts of the exotic woods in the burn pile.
So, well, we did fish.
We fished it all out. Most of that went to, friends who did woodworking.
Yeah.
After we made those cloak toggles of doom,
Yeah.
we discovered just how hard that was. Those pieces were what? Probably like mahogany or something.
Yeah, I don't know what.
We
What
nicknamed
exactly?
it brickwood.
Yeah, I think it was Christopher who named it Brookwood.
We're using a rasp and file, and stuff was dark, unstained. Developed a lovely polish on it without using any polishing compound.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'll do the pink one first.
Yeah. Ugh, that's a chewy bat. Oh, you're right. It's starting to run low on bats, aren't you?
Yeah.
Do you want me to push that other stack closer?
Yeah, well, we can talk
Oh, and that is entirely the wrong place for me to put that. I'm sorry. Because that's the spot where it gets dry.
and then it doesn't go as nice.
It's gotten 64 over there, it's 68 over here. Should I turn the heater off at this
Yeah.
point? Probably. Because we also have
Yeah.
passing sun on occasion.
Yeah, and the clouds over there are really white.
Yeah. And it's going to go through its cool down cycle there. But yeah, particularly with that piece, you can really see her bracing with this angle especially, you can see how you're bracing your elbows inside your knees.
Because I have my arms right
Locked
there.
on the edge. Actually, you
And
can
then-
see the clean spots on the edge of the wheel.
Yeah. And
It was something when you're giving that teacher lessons on, because he was inheriting a ceramics department. Thankfully he wasn't that much taller than you, because your workstation is optimized for someone of less than average height.
Oh, just have to take the blocks out of it.
As I recall, he kicked the block out of the way initially and went, "No, that is uneven," and brought the block back over. Because she has the foot pedal that controls the speed under one foot, but to make it so she wasn't torquing her ankle by keeping.
No, I was with a numb toe because I was
You were always bracing.
Because I tried to lift my knees so it matched the other side, but still I just.
So when, why not get you a piece of 4x4?
That's what you generally had.
We had offcuts of wood because, well, doesn't everybody?
It's a piece of pressure treated 4x4 too. So it's odd.
Yeah, I don't.
I have no idea where we ended up with a plethora of
Chunks of pressure treated. Oh no, I do remember. Those were off-cut chunks of wood from when we were working with the fair.
Oh, of course.
And they built because they had to build the supports for the stage and rebuild them every year because the ground altered.
Yeah. And then we had some of them because I made my little platform for the wheel.
And we abscond with, the scrap lumber to like level out tables, things of that nature.
This was a field.
So it had these really odd bits of scrap wood.
And we were told to take whatever scrap we wanted.
Yes.
I'm actually encouraged to take the scrap.
Because it was less for them to get rid of.
That's right. I only have so much space in my little trailer. No, I'm not going to take the Verathing.
We have no use for Verathing. You are not sending us home with Verathing. It was bad enough trying to get rid of all the scrap paint that they sent home with us before we moved. And we were trying to go, no, this paint was purchased for you. You keep it. I think Mr. Skull there probably need to be tinted lightly. And now that the
This is going to need a handle.
he's gonna need a handle. And now the heater's finished its cool down.
There was an air bubble in that piece.
Oh, I'm sorry. Should switch it to the dehumidifier. Yep. Oh, again.
And they threw off the centering there. It's like popped the bubble. Which air bubble is kind of like a rock. As soon as you remove the rock, there's a hollow. There's a hollow.
65% humidity.
Yeah.
There we go. I'll probably want to check that like later today. May have to dump the water out of it.
Harvest the water.
Yes, harvest the water.
They're not dumping.
No, because when we empty, we buy vinegar in quantity. For one thing, we use white vinegar for cleaning. So we end up with the empty gallon jugs, and that's one of the things that the water from the dehumidifier will go into.
This one's getting all funky. It's a bit of
I'm sorry.
well, it has a void, and then it has, they're not, it happens.
Yeah.
It's not good. So,
Yeah, there it goes.
Yep.
Watch the
Yep.
walls start to fall.
that one.
If he lives, he lives.
If he lives, he lives, yep.
I will set him actually up over here. So he's
You go dog.
now we'll be able to see him from the kitchen.
And then if it fails, it's kind of like, it's scrap plate and gets recycled.
Yeah, doesn't that bag right over there.
That's
Okay,
all
so
good.
this is the 16-ounce piece that's meant for the
Didn't
4
move
Oh, I'm
this.
sorry.
They're out of reach. It's all There we go.
There is kind of a finite number that you can't throw before you run out of bats.
That wasn't a piece of clay.
That's one of the old chewy bats. Because that's why that was that second pile.
Yep.
The bats, they age. They break down.
Become compost. Actually, just the,
Yeah.
you don't need to add that much clay to the soil.
No. We've purposely made one small deposit of clay in the yard for the purposes of making the mason bees happier. Because mason bees like to use clay for building their little houses. Because they're solitary bees. We've actually seen some of the native mason bees in the yard.
Yeah.
And actually in the garage as well. But they don't damage anything. They just find little holes that they can have their little seasonal homes in.
Yeah.
And I know Christopher wants to take a piece of scrap timber, drill it full of mason bee sized holes for next year.
Yeah.
So we can have a bee house. I'm heating more water. Because I did refill the kettle. And well, I did fill the kettle full of hot water from the tap. That was hours ago at this point. Okay. And this is one of those, is the unusual request of the 4.5-inch. Never heard of mason bees before. They're actually one of the North American natives. They're solitary, they don't form hives. Yeah, 4.5 inches. Because the bees in this area are very diverse. We've got a couple of different varieties of bumblebee. We have the little dark mason bees.
One side of the other, yes.
And then there's the imported European honeybees. Actually, they're not even European, they're actually African. European honeybees were dark. African honeybees were golden.
I have like 4 or 5 varieties of bees. In the spring we have one bush that's just covered in bees.
You know, the California lilac in the front yard, which we nicknamed the bee bush because it just every bee, every pollinator for miles around just descends on that bush. It buzzes. But the little tiny fuzzy bumblebees, ones that are a little more moderate and very classic bumblebee, then there's the ones that we named the B-52s.
We have the
Because they're huge.
big bumblebees.
Yeah, the big fuzzy, extra fuzzy bumblebees, which are so cute. They look like teddy bears. Yeah, mason bees, they just need basically, I think it's like 1/2 inch or 3/8 inch holes to build their little nests in.
We kind of cool to have beehive.
Yeah, we do kind of want to put it in a beehive at some point. fascinating to visit with, but I do have to do other things. Make your day be fun and productive. You too. And thank you for watching.
Thanks for joining us.
Okay. Right size.
Bye-bye.
Oh. Next.
See how many more I can do here.
Yeah.
Before my back goes, yeah.
You're not making creaky sounds yet. Well, actually, no. There was kind of a creaky sound right there. Hot water time. Alright, that nice toasty water there now?
Yep.
How many more pieces do you want? There's space for like one more over there. Start moving things around over here.
And dump the water there.
Bloop.
There's water in the bottom, and it, because sometimes things need sound effects.
Rearrange things so there's more space. Sure, that way. And here. Yeah, we'll put the large bowls over there. Now run out of space on that shelf. And now these bowls are going faster because you don't have to focus on a precise shape.
Yeah. That's what's good. It's too big.
The open stock, you've done, this is number 3. So you're
The
full
open stock?
5. What?
Open stuff?
Well, not open stock, the unregulated shape bowls. How's that?
Generic bowls.
Generic bowls. So that is piece 5. Because there's 3, no, that's piece 4. Because there's the one small bowl and the unregulated bowls. 4, 5. You think you still have another 7 pieces in you?
I don't know. It's just it.
I will try.
This
I said, just double check. No, there's not too many. There's still more than 7 bats down there.
That's good.
Because I was like, oh wait, yeah, you're not gonna run out of bats first. So many bowls.
Yeah.
Seven. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes. Let's see. 7? Wait, was that really 7? Moment of doubt. Double check.
Yeah.
Eight. Stay, block of play, do not roll off.
Hands time.
9.
That was good.
Yeah.
So dark and stormy day.
At least the winds died down. We did have the rather significant wind earlier.
It wasn't as bad as
Prediction.
prediction, which is good.
We had the potential of about 40 gusts.
Yeah, it's kind of, that could be significant.
That could be exciting.
Could do without excitement.
Yeah.
Not that kind of
excitement.
Not that kind of excitement.
Yeah.
Happy things. That's the kind of excitement.
Yeah. Pleasant. Two more pieces and you'll have your full 12 there. You'll be able to see your finite number of blocks.
Yeah. And, go. Another one. The hardest part is to lean down there and get to that. Okay.
Move the bottle over here.
Because there are often things out there that can be a real pain in the butt. You laugh, Sarah. Like foot ramps. Only wet in one spot.
And you found it.
Yeah. And
Pack shelf here. Some of these bats are bigger than the new ones.
yeah, these are all random backs.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I think it's one more piece. That was 11. Just need to get you 12. Nope, wrong size piece.
Yeah, all of me down there because they're getting kind of low.
There, this is the last piece.
Side and it will be lunch time.
Yes. Oh, it said like half lunch. That's definitive. Well, I don't want to eat chalk.
That would be very tasty.
No. Oh yeah, I forgot the air coming out of the dehumidifier is slightly warm. Look, my hands passed over the air outlet. It's like, oh yeah, slight warmth.
Yes, that's that.
Yes.
No big finger.
No. Weirdo.
Yeah.
2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 7, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 39. So this week, this makes the 39th bowl. So when you finish there with the ones that are in front of you, you'll have thrown 43 bowls this week.
Wow. That's a lot.
That is a lot of bowls.
Considering it's only in 2 cities.
Yeah.
It's not like it took 5 days to throw.
No.
It's just 2.
Okay, next week, plates and mugs. Just drinking vessels. Perhaps not just mugs.
Mugging it up for
I'll make you a cheat sheet of just those shapes, like you had for the bowls.
Yeah, just make a size and shape. This kind of plates can be different. There you go.
So I can now
they
get
don't vary
rid of
as much
this one.
molds.
No, they don't.
And into the next step. Well, now if you wanted to be really nice, you could
Get last 3 bats over here.
less 2 bats.
2 bats, you're right.
Because those were awfully far down.
They seem to be the source of inordinate amounts of sound effects.
Yeah. And
Yeah, and you only have another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bats down there. You're that close to running out of bats.
that's kind of
Because the what? Oh no, I'm sorry. It'll be 44. There's the one bowl up there. What was it going to do?
I don't know. Oh, you're gonna do the plate sheet.
No, that wasn't what I was going to do. Oh, I was going to sort out the forms that had bowls that are finished
Oh,
and get them moved over to the finished.
I figured
compartment.
it was plate because you asked if did I want one for the plates now.
No, I'm not doing that
See,
right
it was a logical assumption.
Yes. Okay, that piece.
Which means that
Red.
you weren't being logical.
Meant I was processing more than one sequence at a time. Okay. This one we have.
It's just being
The small plates are done. You've now thrown the bowls. That one, it just needs large plates. Because you haven't thrown enough 10-inch plates yet.
Yeah.
Okay. That goes there. Come on, go to your spot. Almost
Trusty
done.
bag. Trusty bag.
That one, the large plates are done, and you just throw in the bowls. So that one needs small plates. That one still has
stream after this last bowl.
Yes. That one's done. Through that, through that. So that one's just cups. This one just through the bowl. You go over there. This one just through bowls. We need plates still on that one. That's a mug that goes in there. It's also the tan. Goes there. Also there. Both black and red, so just go there. Middle Eastern mug shape, there. Yeah, those are both red clay, red clay, red clay,
Going on to the last
black
bowl.
clay.
Oh, the bowls are done. Yay!
Black clay. That little bowl. That one, that one. There. Okay. These guys shove here. There. Got the bowl. Got the orders and we're just waiting bowls off into the home finish pile.
Okay. Yay! And that finished with this bowl. So we can be saying goodbye and use it.
Yes. Oh, sun came out. That's bright.
Okay, there we go. Last bowl is complete and bye. Stream again next week.